Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Haunt Talk. This will also probably be uploaded to the podcast because I don't think we're going to have a podcast for this week, but it's a special episode. It's our Easter edition. We're looking for me to wear Easter Bunny, if you're watching the video form, for me to wear Easter Bunny ears as well. We could not find any, so Kim is just adorning this sunflower.
Yes, I'm a lovely flower.
Yes, Kim's a lovely Easter flower today, and you're like, why is this a Haunt Talk Easter episode? Because me and Kim did a haunted Easter egg hunt. We wanted to have this video up a little while ago, but because of circumstances, we have not, because we kind of wanted to get it up when the place was still doing it, but they aren't now. But it was so interesting, I think we just wanted to talk about it. It's going to be less of a review. We are going to give it a score at the end, but we're not going to be rating each category.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're going to do going forward when we do special events. Mm-hmm. Like for the normal Haunted episodes, it'll still be categorized.
Yeah.
But for the special events, because like it's hard for them to staff the haunted houses and stuff like that to full capacity.
Right.
Now, the haunted house in question that we went to was Carnage in Columbus, Ohio. Funny enough, we've only been there so far at the new location for special events.
Yeah.
We did they had like a pre-one in the summer of, was that 2021? Yeah, it was 2021.
2021, yeah.
But we didn't get there in the normal year, and they only had one haunt open for that. Mm-hmm. I was excited to find out that they would have both open for this event, though. So we did get the second haunt we went through, because they have two, was one we had not yet experienced.
Yes.
Yeah. But just real quick, before we just get right into it, just remember to like and subscribe, and also make sure to check out our Patreon. It helps us out a lot. We also have a merch store if you like our logo. We have it on shirts with the name Spirit Light Productions, tons of different colors, different fabrics, different cuts. We also have glasses and like tote bags you can get it on. All kinds of stuff if you'd like to help us out and support the brand, just because like we think it's a really cool looking thing, so we put it on some shirts. And if you'd like to see some other designs that we could put out, let us know that as well. But yeah, I think one of the things that definitely drew us into this was their tagline.
Yes. So this it was called Hidden, and it said Easter egg hunt. You hunt for eggs, we hunt for you.
And yeah. And so we had no idea how it was going to work, because it was very indescriptive, I would say.
Yeah.
It was just a Facebook post. They like slightly mentioned it on the website, but it was just a Facebook post that said, that they were doing this. So we really didn't know what to expect going in there. And basically, how it worked was they gave you, of course, a basket. It was one basket per group, so not everyone got a basket. And there were certain rooms that had one egg per group. And the only way it was kind of interesting, because the way to know that there was going to be an egg in the room was if you saw there's like a big, like fuzzy-ish egg that would be on the wall. But even that was sometimes kind of hidden.
Yeah. Yeah, like the one was like hiding like on a shelf, like low on some boxes and stuff. And like sometimes you'd actually have to like really like look around the room to be like, oh, there's one of those big eggs. We got to look for eggs in here now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was kind of a challenge, but it was still pretty fun. And what they told us was basically half the rooms had eggs in them. So you weren't looking in every single room and stuff like that. Just the ones that had the designated signage.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen our original review we did of this place, it is interesting because it is in an old bowling alley. Yeah. And they haven't really done anything to the entrance to make it not like an old school bowling alley. So they still have that like squiggly carpet from the 90s, and they have like a whole bunch of like dubstep music playing. Really kind of sad. It's kind of like a party atmosphere. And they had one cue actor, which he was really cool. There might have been, no, I think there's just one. Well, no, there was two, actually. There's one that was basically like the person that let you in the door. Yeah. And there was a second one that like walked through the line. Mm-hmm. And he would like heckle you and stuff like that. So that was fun. And yeah, of course, you go in there and they kind of tell you the thing. And the one thing which I was worried about was like, if you're looking for Easter eggs in each room, how are they going? They only have one per group. How are they going to reset the room in between each group? And how are they going to control how long a group is in a single room? Yeah. And that was like the big thing for me. And it worked for almost the entirety of the first haunt. Yeah. But the second haunt, they didn't space us out enough because we ended up catching up to the other group at the very end because these people were they were searching every room and taking forever, and and we weren't really instructed anything except just to look for the Easter egg. And then when we got to like a couple of rooms, like we didn't know when the other group would be, and sometimes we'd walk in and they were still there. And like the one time we couldn't get an egg because the guy was like, "Oh, well, you were supposed to wait outside the room until they were done." And it's like, well, we didn't know that. No one told us that. So I mean, it was definitely, and this was also the first night we went on a Friday. They did it for 2, so there definitely were some kinks to iron out. But I did really like the idea, and like it wasn't a big prize. Like they give you a bag of candy if you got a certain amount of eggs. You didn't have to have all of them, but you had to have like a certain amount. I can't remember the number.
There was 15 eggs total. If you got 10 or more eggs, you got a prize, and they pretty much gave you a prize as long as you got a lot of, like, at least half eggs. They gave you something.
Yeah,
which was nice.
I really like the fact that more and more haunted houses are doing these special, like, holiday events. You'll see some that open up on Friday the 13th. And I kind of like the concept of what they did here, to the point where I think it would be kind of cool if some place did something, not necessarily an Easter egg hunt, but although it could be fun if you had like a demented Easter theme.
Yes.
Because I will say, like, the re-theming was pretty light here.
Yeah, like, basically they put, like, bunny ears on things, and like there was like some other egg themed things around and stuff like that, but it was basically just the haunt
with Easter eggs.
With Easter eggs.
And that's fine, because I mean, like, some you go to, like when we went to Fear Columbus, obviously they Christmas the hell out of the place for the Christmas event, and it's fine that they didn't like decorate everything, because they didn't really advertise it as that. They just advertised it as an Easter egg hunt in a haunted house.
Yeah.
So I did appreciate what they did do to like kind of change up the theming. Now I think we will touch a little bit here on, because I'd prefer, if you want like an in-depth, which we can talk about it a little bit, but more in-depth on the first haunt, you can go watch the video we have on Carnage from last year. But the first one is cool. It's very bayou themed.
Yes.
And I do like how they tie it in. So basically, like, the whole first haunt, you're going through like swamps. They have like a really cool alligator. It starts off in like a voodoo shack, and they have like a thing where like a bookshelf moves after the lights go out to like reveal a secret path. There's just quite a lot of really cool scenes in the first haunt, and then it ends with a really big graveyard scene, which I think is cool. It's like storming in there, and we had talked how much we like that. And then when you exit, like the little like break point, it looks like you're like
on a city street, almost like Bourbon Street or something like that. There's like a barber shop and a butcher shop.
And it's cool because the way you exit, it's not just like a black tarp you exit through. It's actually like a facade, and it even says "Do not enter after dusk," because it's like that. Like, you exit through what would have been the entrance of the cemetery. Yeah. Like you're in a street in New Orleans or something like that. So then you go around, and then you go to the hospital, which is the next haunt. Now I will say that the second haunt, in my opinion, is, not to be rude, but very inferior to the first one in comparison. Yeah. It's a lot of white walls with blood splattered on it. Not nearly lit as nice. It's much more traditional. Yeah. Where the other one has a bunch of open scenes where you're like really walking around these cool props, like a really big boat, and they have like a really cool scene where you're walking over like a dock, and like the dock moves and stuff. Yeah. And they actually have this thing where when it thunders, there's a thing that pounds the floor underneath of you that scared the crap out of me. Now, there are still some cool things about the second one, because it kind of looked like it's being taken over by some kind of like entity.
Yeah, well, they said something about like a doctor went to New Orleans or something like that, or he went to like someplace and he brought back some sort of artifact that was cursed, and it decided to spread itself across this hospital. So like when you're walking through the hospital, you see the typical blood splatter and spookiness of a haunted hospital, but there's also like this black like goop stuff that's kind of like growing into the hospital and like just kind of going up the walls and stuff like that, which I think is whatever this doctor brought back with him, which I kind of like. I kind of wish it was a little bit more.
Right, I wish it went a little more that way, maybe that the corruption got stronger the further you go in, more so than it did. because it did feel like just a slightly better version than just your average run of the mill like insane asylum theme, which is always that and clowns are always my least favorite themes and haunts. They just feel uninspired and overused. It wasn't done poorly, and there were some cool scenes. Like there was a really messed up nursery scene.
Oh yeah.
With like just really grotesque things with babies, like just really messed up like zombie babies, like slamming against walls and stuff.
They were in like their chairs, but they were like hanging upside down on the ceiling. Cool. That was really cool. But I want to touch on your point with the whole seeing the hospital being overtaken more and more as you progress through it. It actually kind of reminds me of a Halloween Horror Nights house, which was Wicked Growth, where as you're going through it, it gets more and more, like you get deeper and deeper into the whole pumpkin thing, and you just keep getting more intense into it. And that would actually really, really benefit this haunt if it like just kind of like the walls just got more goop on them and darker and like
to the point where it didn't even look like you were in a hospital anymore by the end. It was just taken over and just like. It could have went all, if you've played Resident Evil 7, any of viewers, there's like these weird goop tar monster things because that's the house is being overtaken by this corruption. That would have been kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like at the end if there were like weird goop monster actors.
Yeah,
because,
there
like,
you go.
They were coming from this like whatever it is that's spreading this darkness.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping, and again, this house I don't think they were able to spend as much time on the second one as they did the first one because the first one, I believe, there's a lot of props that they had from their old location there. So these are things they've perfected a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because there's it's like the dollhouse scene, which I know was in the original one as well, correct?
Yes.
So I'm just hoping that they add that one a little bit more for the actual season. Like I said, it wasn't bad by any means, but considering how good the first one was and how cool that like middle section is, like a city street, I just was expecting a tiny bit more, I think, than what we saw there. But yeah, I do think, going back to the point, I do think it'd be really cool to see someplace do something like this as just like the actual like a main event haunt where there's like a scavenger hunt or something like that.
Yes.
But like design the entire haunt around that, I guess. So that way, if, I don't know, you'd have to design some system where you know that people might get bunched up together. So a way to like make it so it's not boring, but be able to pulse people through in a different way.
Yeah, and make sure you have enough of the things they need to find in that room that, you know, once you find it, you're done in that room. Like, say you have to find, like, a skeleton.
Well, that's what...
You know, you find it, you go.
I think it would be a really good idea to, like, go full-on, like, escape room, haunted house hybrid. Like, and I know that, like, haunted houses have escape rooms, and they're spooky escape rooms, but, like, literally make it, like, a big event. Like, a haunted house, but, like, there's challenges, like, little challenges in multiple rooms.
Yeah.
And, like, they don't have to be, like, full-on, like, things like escape rooms do, but I think that would be kind of cool where it's like, here's this haunted house, and the group has 5 minutes to solve the puzzle in each room. If they don't, the next group comes and they have to leave. And then at the end, if you get 5 treasure or however many treasures for however many rooms are or something, maybe you win a little prize or like you won, or maybe you get to go like at the end. Oh, that would be a cool idea.
A bonus room.
Like a bonus room, or like at the end, like you go here. Oh, you've won this many rooms. You get the good ending. Oh, you did this. You get to go to hell or something.
That's cool. Yeah, that would be really cool.
I would love to see. So if any haunts out there that has an idea. I just don't know how to build things, but I have lots of good ideas. Shit me up. I have lots of good ideas. That's not a build anything. But I have ideas for days. But I just really think that something like that would be cool, and I really like the fact that they did this, and I hope they do it again, Carnage does, because I think that since this is their first year, they can iron out any kinks that they had and really, like, make it something even more unique, or I mean, it already was unique, but something just it's a little more well ironed out.
Yeah, because you don't see a lot of haunted houses doing Easter events. They're always doing St. Patrick's Day, Friday the 13th. Yeah, I think I've seen like a couple, but this was just so unique because it was the Easter egg hunt. I've never seen that before. I've seen where they've put in like, you know, Peter Rottentail or whatever and stuff like that, you know, that creepy bunny thing. But I really liked this concept. I did really like this a lot.
Yeah. And I mean, for the most part, like I said, it did work pretty well. And they were spacing us out very generously. It's just, again, you can't control people. Yeah. Like, I mean, they probably let 5 minutes between us or something like that. And I mean, the people in front of us were just moving very slow, which I mean...
Yeah, they were looking at every room. Even the ones that didn't have the designated egg sign, they were looking in there and it was like...
And I don't know if they were, but I do know there is a decent amount of haunters that were there, or like other review crews, and like I think they were just taking like it just to really look at like every corner of the room, which I mean is fine, but you also got to like move a little bit through a haunt. But I guess this is the rare instance where you're incentivized to actually like not move out of the room, like you're incentivized to kind of stay in a room for longer.
I mean, they had really good hiding places for these eggs. Like I found one, there was like a
it was dark,
trellis with vines going up it, and it was stuck in the vines, and it was a green egg too. So it was a green egg and green vines, and I was like, and the only reason I saw it was I just went like this, and I'm just like, you got to be kidding me, and I saw it, and it was so weird because I was just kind of looking around, looking at the stuff, and I'm like, found the egg, there it is in a vine.
Yeah.
But I really they had some really good hiding spots for some other ones. Like you actually had to put your hands in some like.
And as far as actors go, of course, they weren't like fully staffed, which we didn't expect it. But I will say the ones that were there did a really good job, and they were pretty dang good at interacting. Because again, since you're stuck in the room with some of them, because I would say there weren't, for the most part, the actors are only in rooms with eggs. There were a couple in others, but for the most part, they were only in rooms that had eggs in it. And, of course, they had to do more than just the jump scare since you're looking around for the eggs. I will say something else that benefited, though, is, like, that scene I was talking about, the graveyard scene, is huge. And I got by, like, the same actor, like, 2 or 3 times. Because you're looking around, because it said, at the very beginning, you see that there's going to be an egg. Which we never did find the egg in the graveyard. Because the graveyard scene, again, is huge.
Yeah, we didn't find the egg there.
And so I'm looking everywhere for it. And I'm, like, concentrating on finding it, looking every crevice. And all of a sudden, the guy would just pop out in front of me, or whatever, and scare the crap out of me.
Yeah, the person we went with, he got her twice. And in the same little cubby, too. It was great. Yeah. I love going with other people because it just...
Yeah, because me and Kim go to so many together. So it's nice when we get like another friend or person and like just seeing their reaction, because a lot of times we get a little desensitized. But we'll say these special events always tend to make me like jump scare me more, because in October, like by the end, we've been to so many where it gets a little harder to really like scare me good. But during this one, I always forget what it is, and you like go in, like you get scared for the first time, and you like remember like, oh yeah, that's why I like going to these. It's kind of, it's one of those things where I wish we could go to haunted houses year round, but I also think it wouldn't be as special if you could.
Yeah.
Because it's just kind of like when you go on vacation, you know, like if you could, when you go on vacation, if you live there, it's not special, but if it's vacation, then you get all excited about it. And kind of one of the best parts about like vacation is the anticipation of it. Same thing with haunted houses for like us, is we kind of look forward to all year, September and October.
Yeah.
And, you know, it is nice, I will say, that places are opening early and earlier, to the point where Halloween Horror Nights is starting on, like, September 1st, I think, this year.
Yeah.
It's insane how early it's starting, and, like, I'm perfectly okay with that.
Yeah,
like,
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I love that so many are opening, like, the first couple weeks of September now, because it just gives us more time to, like, and it makes it a little easier to plan, too, because we can be like, well, we know we're going to hit these because no others are open besides, because that's why, like... We try and change it up every year, right? That's why we do 100 Acre Manor like every year, because it's always open like a week before everyone else. Yeah. At least.
Yeah. And plus it's nice that places are opening more, because, I mean, we try to do a good variety of places for you guys.
It's like popular, your big places, and we also did places like Terror Labs last year, which like I don't think anyone's heard about.
Yeah.
Or what was the other one we did that was really small, that was in PA?
Oh gosh, what was that?
What was that called? Now I'm going to have to...
look it up. Yeah, speaking of Terror Labs, they are doing a Friday the 13th. I will post more Friday the 13th places. So hopefully we'll try to get to some of these. I don't know if we'll get to them, but we will try.
Man, we did 38 videos for the last season of Haunt Tech. Now, not all of those are reviews. Some were like vlogs of Cedar Point, but still, I'm like, man, that's a lot. Fearscapes.
Oh, yeah.
That was the other small. So, yeah, we try and do a variety of places, big and small.
We got to check out their escape rooms.
They have escape rooms there, too?
Yes.
Huh. We need to do more escape rooms. There's a lot we want to do. But we like to do, those are ones that, like... I'd prefer to do them with, like, 4 people is, like, a good number. Because the 2 of us, sometimes some of these puzzles are just really hard to do it for 2 people. And then generally they're meant for more, but it's really hard to like, as like grown ass adults, it can be hard to like organize things.
Us at Unlock the Adventure was it was an adventure. Two of us trying to do these rooms, and it was like
we beat the first one. The second one they basically let us beat it, but
yeah, it was hard.
But yeah, I don't know. I had a lot of fun, and I hope Carnage continues to do that. And I do recommend, even though again, when you're watching this video, you will not be able to do the Easter egg hunt for 2022 because it is over. But I don't know if they're doing any more special events this year. If they are, you should check them out, and even if not, you should check them out in the fall because there's also a plethora of really good haunted houses in the area now. You have Fear Columbus, which is one of our top haunts. Carnage is, of course, great. Haunted Hoochie isn't far away.
Yeah.
You also have the Zoo, which for the first year, we thought it was pretty decent. It was
pretty decent for the first year.
I forget what we gave it, but it was like a 7, I think, or something like that. I think the most impressive thing we liked about that is like just the park itself was lit up and like we had fun like through the little scare zones and stuff. I love scare zones in places. Yes. That's the only reason I really like Cedar Points is because they have like these scare zones, so you can just walk right through them, and some of them are just haunted trails, straight up haunted trails.
Yeah, like the pirate one and the bayou one are just haunted trails. But like the other ones, you just walk through it and occasionally get scared, and there's lots of fog and cool lights and stuff like that, which is just a lot of fun to walk through, just on its own. So,
but we did say we were going to give this a score. Like I said, this is a little bit more. Most of our haunt talks are a little more structured or just about this. But like I said, this one is going to be a little bit of a discussion as well, since we also are going to be doing the podcast. Because if you are just listening in podcast form, we typically don't release the majority of the haunt talk episodes as a podcast. Sometimes for special events we'll do it, but like our typical day-to-day reviews, we don't put those online because especially in October, like I would then have to pay for the premium package. And I just don't know if that's something people would like in podcast form. If it is something... No one ever comments on these videos, but if it is something you would actually like to see, if you for some reason would like the reviews in podcast form because you would just like to listen to our reviews on the fall on your daily commute, I guess let us know in the comments below. But we decided we were going to give it an 8 overall score for the event. Yes. Still some kinks they have to iron out, and we wish the second one, the second haunt would be a little bit better. And hopefully, again, this was still basically the first year. Yeah. 2021 was, but this is a special event, so I'm going to consider it their first year. So I'm sure that they will be improving the second haunt throughout time. But yeah, have you been there? If you have, what do you think of it? Let us know. Make sure, like I said before, to like and subscribe, and also click that notification bell.
Oh wait,
I need the
bell.
Kim forgot the bell. Well, make a dinging sound. I don't know. Oh, she found it. Yeah, we need
the cowbell.
We need to retire the cowbell.
Yeah. Oh, I like the cowbell.
We need to retire the cowbell.
I had another bell. I don't know what happened to it. Oh, well.
But thank you very much for watching and or listening, and we'll see you all in the next episode.
Bye.